Hello. In this episode, I'm going to be speaking with Althea Finch, who is a pain-free specialist, and she helps people recover from chronic and long-term pain. So, Althea, welcome, and thank you for agreeing to do this interview. Now, some people might think your method sounds a bit too out there, but I was trained many, many years ago as a life coach, and I've forgotten most of it. But one of the things they taught us about emotional pain was to talk to it and visualize a shape. And it sounded really weird when we did it, but I actually practiced on that and found it to be actually very surprisingly helpful. Now, I know your method has sort of, does it have a similar thing to that where you are really reaching inside and finding the message as to what your pain wishes to tell you, or is there, have I misunderstood what you do?
Yeah, so the way that I teach, it's something so simple. And one client said to me that it's not that it's difficult, it's just we don't do it. We know it, but we don't do it typically. And in the West, we're not typically taught how to self-heal. And yeah, you have sort of got it, but you're it in the middle of you. It's you. It's you. And what happens is when you have, I don't know, like negative thoughts or maybe traumas or horrible experiences or just mindset that doesn't help you or something that you've picked up in life, that will reflect in your physical, that will reflect in your emotions, that will reflect in your mind. It will reflect in the way that you think and the choices you make and the things that you do. And everything reflects. So, pain-free, getting rid of symptoms is not really getting rid of anything at all. It's not fixing anything at all. It's not reaching into anything. It's not trying to understand anything. You're it. You're already living who you are. So, physical symptoms are just an expression of they're a reflection of who you are inside. So, say like someone's stressed, for example, and they have tight shoulders or they can't sleep or something and they're stressed because they are stressed at work, for example. So if that person gets massages or goes within those muscles or reaches into anything or meditates or uses lovely oils or whatever they do, or painkillers, they can do all sorts of things, and many things can help someone. And of course, whatever we do, we're learning about ourselves and about whatever we're doing. So that's nothing's lost. But to clear those tight muscles, those things can help, but they cannot make it go away. You have to connect to what is it. So those tight muscles, what's tight in you, what's create there's stress, what's stressed in you, what's all that work thing about? Why are you doing a job that you're stressed at? It's you, the experience of you, and your body just reflects you like a mirror. So there's nothing to fix. It's all about coming back to alignment. It's all about coming back to your happy place, your pain-free place that's always in you. But what's lovely about the body is that it shows you exactly where to start healing. So if you've got tight shoulders or a bad back or an itis, you've got an ism or an itis or a syndrome, that you're showing yourself where to start healing. So you got those tight shoulders, and then you stay. What I teach is I show you how to stay present with, I call it a message, the body message, the emotional symptom, the message. Stay present with it, relax yourself, allow the breathing, and listen to what you're telling yourself. I had a lady who had awful shoulder pain, and she said, "Oh, Alfie, it went from the wrist, then it went from the elbow, then it went to the shoulder, and then it was going that way, and then it was coming down the other arm. I've got a little kid, I can't carry shopping." I was getting desperate. And I said to her, "What do you think you're telling yourself? What's your body telling you?" And straight away she said, "I'm exhausted." So that's what the problem is. What's what is it about the exhaustion? Where's the exhaustion in you? What's she doing to be in an exhausting place? There's nothing wrong with her body. And the moment she connects to um, the creation of the problem, and it starts with the problem itself. You don't have to figure anything out. It's that's so what's so wicked about the body, that it doesn't lie. It just is what it is in the tin, and that's where you're directing yourself. It's a bit like man overboard. Man overboard on a ship. We don't say, well, they'll catch us up later. he'll catch us up. We turn the entire ship around, man overboard. Everybody stop what you're doing. Turn the ship around. Let's get the guy. And you don't think, you just connect with the guy. You get the guy back on the ship and pump him to life. And then you start thinking. It's exactly what you do for your physical or emotional stress symptom. Your symptoms, your problem thing, you connect with it. You connect with the man overboard. You connect with that tight shoulder, that back pain, that migraine. And in the problem is the solution. I know I've thrown a lot at you there. Does that
No,
make
no, that's
sense?
great. But like going back to the lady with the pain traveling from wrist to elbow to shoulder, she has a young child. She's a busy mum. She's exhausted. That kind of goes with the package. How on earth does she deal with that when that's her life?
So he's healing is easy. And when you know the ropes, when you know the what tos, and that's what I teach, it's simplistic. It's simplistic to the point that your mind, it drives the mind crazy because it doesn't make any logical sense. But if you imagine we're all expressions of energy, your thoughts, your physical body. Even scientists have proved there's no solidity anywhere. They've gone down to the tiniest, minutest part of us, and it's all space between. Nothing is
Just
solid.
vibrating energy particles and
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. So if you know that and you feel that and you get that, there's nothing to fix, there's nothing to form or change or sort out. So that woman, for example, she's exhausted. She said she's exhausted. So you're going to connect to what's bubbling up in you. What's the root of all this pain? She's exhausted and she's busy. I've had two little ones as well. So I know what you're talking about. But where is the connect to the exhaustion in you? Soften and breathe. How do you want to be feeling instead? And what happens is that man overboard, that exhaustion feeling, that pain, that muscle tension is getting the expression it needs. It's a sign of separation from you. So when she connects to the exhaustion, first of all, she gets validated. Her whole system will feel a tiny bit better, a little bit better, or massively better because she's listening to her needs.
She's acknowledged she has
She's
that.
acknowledged,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Okay.
part of you that's exhausted. It might be physical, it might be can't sleep, bills, tidying up, whatever. She's exhausted. But what's at the center? She's exhausted. So by connecting to it, and it makes no logical sense, you got to trust and flow and feel, does this feel right if you're listening to this?
Hmm.
So connecting to the exhaustion in her closes the circle, brings her back to her center. Then she's firing on all cylinders. And now she might take a breath. She might ask for help. She might. What happens is when people come into their center, align, connect with their needs, listen and respond to their needs, stay present in the moment. What happens is not only do you feel better and your symptoms will drop away, but everything around you changes as well. She might find a friend calls her up. Oh, I've got a spare thing. Do you want this thing, dear? I've got the kids today. I can have your kids if you want. And, so things happen not only within yourself, but when she's exhausted, she's in pain, those messages are calling her. She can't pick up the shopping. They're screaming at her to pay attention to her, not to sort it out, which is what we do in
Gotcha.
the Western way.
So it's kind of reverse psychology. So, for example, when I'm teaching people to design a garden, everyone wants to go in with the plants and features, the pretty things. I'm saying, no,
Yeah.
actually, you design the empty space first, and then the shape of your lawn and patio, and then you put the plants and features in. And it's a complete reverse. So it sounds like you do exactly that with the pain. And therefore, by that acknowledgement and because if you don't know, well, I suppose in her situation, she just like I just said, well, that's her lot. There's nothing she can do about it. What's she supposed to
Because
do with that knowledge? But actually, by acknowledging she's struggling and is exhausted, it's more
hang on,
likely to ask for help.
hang on, you've gone up into the head to figure it out. Stay present with it.
Yeah,
So acknowledging is the consequence of connecting, and connecting is the key of healing.
gotcha. Okay.
Noticing the problem, that's pretty evident. She's exhausted, she's in pain.
Mm.
Connect
But
to
she
the
hadn't
pain.
even acknowledged that exhaustion. She was just focusing on the wrist pain and the
Yeah,
elbow pain, etc. So by
exactly.
acknowledging it, you're self-validating, aren't you? You're thinking, actually, no, I do
Yeah.
need help,
You're
and I
thinking too hard.
no, I'm a thinker.
Which,
I am a thinker. But so
so
you're saying
that's a
that
good thing.
it's more feeling what she's feeling,
Not even that. It's
not even that.
literal. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. And
No, no,
think
do.
if you're a thinking girl, that's really important to be who you are, obviously. But and I'm bumping in because so many people, it's healing is so simplistic. It's like
Mm,
breathing, and you're just breathing. You don't think about breathing. You're breathing, and it gives you the effects that you need. And to figure it out or make sense of it, if you're a logical person like yourself, of course you will, and that's fine, but that's irrelevant to healing. Your body calls your attention. Her pain in her wrist is calling her, and she
mm,
automatically will probably do something like that.
mm-hmm,
That's healing. Now she's connected. Now she's connecting with the man overboard. Now she's bringing him on board,
mm-hmm,
and she's feeling exhausted. Now, what we do in the Western world, say, oh, God, I need some help. I can't do this. And what am I going to, we go up into the head, we get stressed, we get more, and the pain continues and it travels all the way down the other side and it gets louder. Well,
mm,
people who come into my world, they come in with physical conditions and things, and they have many things. They've lost their job, they have a chronic long-term condition that they've been told to live with. They're now taking medication, maybe. They can't sleep, they have trouble to be around. Nobody wants to be around them because they're moaning all the time. So the message gets louder and louder. And yet, all you have to do is connect with it sort of feels like a meditation on you,
mm,
noticing you. It's like a fly on the wall to you. Notice your body, notice your joints, notice your thoughts, notice your it's like an awareness of you. And in that state, you're in flow, you're in your center. So I just want to give a bit of background behind this because hopefully it'll make more sense.
mm. I was going to ask you how you came across this. That was my next question.
Okay. Um, so who you are inside is the whole package. That's it. And when you're feeling physical, emotional, stressed, and whatever, that's the expression of what's coming out, bubbling out from you.
Mm-hmm,
So when I was a little girl, I was abused, and it wasn't so much about that. Never mind that. It was how the consequences were because of it. And my parents were didn't deal with it, didn't address it. So the message I got as a little girl was grow up. Nobody really wants to hear you. Don't talk about it. Get on with life. Grow up. Get on with it. So I did, because that's the message I got. So that was the me inside, the not just the experiences uh, that were unaddressed or unresolved, but the reaction after. I mean, you don't have to be abused or anything, but how we tick inside, how you feel and think inside, that's how that's the rule book for your entire life. So I like to say everything's okay until it's not, until
mm,
you get wrist pain, until you feel exhausted, until you get headaches. Now that's a part of you bubbling up to say, pay attention to that, a headache or whatever. And so there I was growing up, and I tried to suppress all my feelings. And in my teens, I was severely bulimic, shoving down, suppressing. I was overwhelmed with life. I couldn't cope. I didn't know how to be in life. I didn't understand people. I was scared, and I just hadn't found my footing, and I just stuffed it all down with bulimia. So it wasn't then in my 20s I studied shiatsu and reflexology and Reiki and all these lovely hands-on body work things, which I love working with people through their bodies. I love helping working with people,
mm,
connecting to people, because that was the craving I guess I had. I had the disconnect with people somehow. Very army family I grew up in, and we don't want to know about your feelings
stiff
or
upper lip, keep calm and carry on.
yeah, just do the housework and smile.
Mm, yes.
But when I got to 30, I'd been doing all this give, hands-on body work, give, and I really loved to connect to the person inside. And I was listening to their story and how their shoulders were this, and then their body and their feelings, and when they tell me some stuff about themselves as well. And it was just fascinating of their story and what's the makeup of somebody inside. And then so I got to 30. and I was dumped by my boyfriend at the time, and it was devastating. I'd met this guy, and my rule book was, oh, you get married and have kids, and that's what you do, and get on with it. But this wasn't really me, actually. And all that give, 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 I had that little voice inside me like, well, I need that too. I need attention. I need me
Mm,
connected with, which I guess was, my early experiences that nobody wants to know. Um, and when I was about 30, I was dumped, and it just crashed my world. I didn't know how to step forward in my life. So all this stuff was going on. We've all got stories. Um, but that was the beginning of my healing. That's when I began the pain-free method. So I used to see people come in the clinic, and they'd tell me they need tighten the shoulders or something. But as soon as I touched them, I was going into their inner world. And the body is just like a sort of, I don't know, like a package we wear. It's just a physical uh, expression of us. We are emotional, we're mental, we're memories, dreams, we're physical, and it all just reflects the other. So if you have a like the dashboard that's blinking and it says "run out of petrol," you don't cover it up, do you?
mm.
Otherwise, you're going to be stuck somewhere
Yeah.
without petrol. And
That's a really good analogy, actually, because
perfect.
we are so taught in the West, aren't we, to numb everything and not pay
Yeah,
attention. And then you just push it, if it's a physical thing, you push it deeper into the body, but
yeah,
emotional as well. And it has to come out at some point. That engine is going to break if you don't listen to the warning signs.
exactly. So, what the pain free method is how to connect to your pain so it goes. And it's really connecting to it, being present with it, relaxing, observing how you react to, because as soon as you connect to your pain thing or your problem thing, and it might not just be physical. I mean, I like to specialize in physical chronic pain and conditions because that's just where that I function. I like physical evidence of change as well. It's very
Mm.
evident. But it can also, I work with people with high level anxiety or childhood traumas like me, or all sorts of things, damage from operations, damage from accidents,
I was
all
going
sorts
to
of
say
things.
about accidents because
Yeah.
does this apply to something that, one can understand some physical manifestations of early childhood trauma, but what happens if someone was walking down the street, got hit by a car, and they're not recovering? Can the body take that opportunity or the psyche, wherever it comes from, to say, "Oh, I'm not going to fix you until you fix this emotional pain"? Does it work like that as well? Or does the
So
trauma of the accident, is that what can cause people to get stuck?
yes, and everything in between. So it might not be anything emotional at all. It's just a physical accident. I had
Hmm.
Martin, who came to me with 30 years of back pain, and he'd had a couple of severe accidents when he was a lad. So he lived with chronic back pain all his life. And when he started to use my method, and within the first 5 minutes, he started to feel relief. So it might be trauma in there, it might be physical damage, it might be the damage to the point that your body's kind of shifted about a bit for various, it's you've maybe had operations, or the damage was so bad that it just ripped something apart, or so you've got trauma in there. You've got psychology in there as well. Like Martin is a bit of I've discovered since like he's a bit of accident prone.
I'm a part of that club.
What you are too?
Oh
What?
God, yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
So there's something behind that, and I like to say everything's okay until it's not. So you can live the way whatever you want until something calls you. And yeah, so it doesn't have to be emotional or trauma or anything. It might be just physical damage and accidents. But you're never just one thing. You're multifaceted, aren't you? Your memories and feelings and physical and accidents and lovely things, and you're a whole package, and the whole thing works as one. And it all comes from your center, which is you. It's you. I sort of analyzing my life. I very, very slowly began to share what happened to me. Very, very slowly. Even now, layers are still coming, but I feel more and more authentic every day because that's what healing really is. Healing is not about fixing physical things. in the Western way, that's where we're taught, but it's not about that. What's really happening is we're vibration and it's an expression of what's inside you. There was one
Mm.
lady with severe nerve pain in the base of her body, the pudendal nerve, and she could barely move, and her whole world had shut down. But what was really happening is that she had a very controlling husband, and she wasn't free. She couldn't live her life. So her body was screaming, you
Wow.
know. It took 10 weeks to get to be pain free, but in those 10 weeks, she was starting to live her life again.
And did
Back,
she leave her husband?
I don't know what happened, but I don't think she wanted to at the time that she was working with me. We didn't mention that because it was a sore subject, it was a
Mm.
hot spot
Literally.
subject. Yeah, exactly. Look at the words I'm using, even just talking about her story.
Mm.
So words where feelings and so um if someone's listening to this and they want to get pain free, connect to it, stay present with it, relax and soften. Notice what happens when you connect to your horrible thing. Because the moment you do, you're allowing expression that stuck, that trapped bit of you, a bit like me, I've trapped those feelings and unresolved things were trapped in me. And I was trying to suppress it. So connecting to it, this is why daily meditation is really, really important.
When you
Listening,
say connecting, if there's someone
yeah.
listening to this that has a chronic pain, what do you mean by that? Do you mean really feel it? As in, because well, usually when you've got a pain like a headache or I've got knee pain at the moment, you tune out of it. So should they
Ah,
be experiencing all that pain in its full glorious detail? Is that what you're
well, well,
saying? Or are
well,
you talking in a
sorry.
different way?
Well, let's demonstrate. So, you can. How do you connect to anything? You describe it, you feel it,
Hmm.
you ask if it's a person, you ask them questions, you look, you put your hand there. So put your hand on your knee, Rachel,
Yeah,
and
that's the first thing I did, funnily enough, as soon as we started talking about it.
interesting. We do this. We know this stuff, but we just don't do it. And I
Yeah.
formulated it into an ABC, but let's demonstrate anyway. Yeah, so you're putting your hands there. So you're already connecting. You might be rubbing or something. So that
I
warmth
am.
of your hand is making the blood vessels dilate. So
Hmm.
magic potion of blood can get into the right bits. It might be aching or something. So how do you connect with it? You put your hands so you can touch it. That's the simplest and easiest way. But what
Hmm.
if it's an emotion or it's a trauma or it's a trigger in the family or it's a physical, so you can't reach it or something. So describe it. So how does your knee, how does it feel like?
It's a bit puffy.
A bit puffy. What's a bit
Mm.
puffy in you? What are knees all about? Knees are about going forward.
Support, aren't they? I thought knees were support, or is that the back?
Okay, support. Yep. Where is support in you? What is it about support? Have you ever had an issue about support before in your life?
Oh,
What's
always, yes.
always? Okay, now you've identified it. That you have connected.
Hmm.
Now come into your breathing and softening. So come into your breathing and just soften your body. Take some nice breaths instead of that support issue. What do you want instead? Instead of that puffy knee, what do you want instead? How do you want it to be?
The first image that popped into my head, and I hate to say this out loud, is for someone to pick me up and carry me.
Oh, did you say you wanted someone? What's that?
Yeah,
What's the
someone
first word?
just to pick me up and carry me so I didn't have to walk.
Fantastic.
Isn't
So
that
what is it about
interesting?
walk? What?
Isn't that interesting that it's like,
Yeah,
oh, forget the knee, just carry me, someone else do it.
exactly. And so what's that going to be? So hone into that. What's it going to be like when that happens and you don't have to walk? What is it about walking and being carried? How will that make you feel? What will that do for you?
It was
How will you...
glorious that was just being transported from point A to point B. Now, logically, I would hate that all the time, but just in that moment of just being lifted up and me not have to do stuff.
Yeah, what is it all about that? What's the thing about you doing stuff and not doing stuff? What's all that about? Where's glorious in you?
Well, being free and not having to do anything would be glorious.
Yeah, fantastic. Where's free in you? Where's that feeling of not having to do anything? Free.
Oh, that's in my heart area. That's I can feel that
Fantastic.
blossoming going, oh, yes.
And where you focus, you get more of. So connect to
Mm.
that blossoming heart, connect to the So every time you feel a thing you don't want, not even just your puffy knee, but if your puffy knee shows up,
Mm.
keep connecting with it. But it's not really about your puffy knee. Your knee is expressing you how you feel, or that part of you inside. So what's the stuff you really want is the blossoming, free and glorious, not having to do anything. So connect to your
Mm.
heart.
Okay.
Connect to your heart. So it's always about, I call it being on one side of the scale or the other. You're either in the horrible place or the lovely place, and you can't be both at the same time. You might be doing that, but you're
Hmm.
either one or the other. So when you have your puffy knee, connect to it, describe it, feel it. What am I feeling? It's puffy. Um,
Irritated, that's what I'm
it,
feeling.
it's irritated. Where's irritated in you?
It's in my jaw. I can feel that locking.
Where's locking in you? What's jaws all about? It's all about communication. Where's the locking in you? Have you ever felt locking before?
Um, all the time when I don't express myself, I get a tight jaw.
And what's all that about? Not you don't
Not,
express yourself.
um,
There's locking in you. What's all the have you ever don't express yourself before? You notice I'm using the exact same words that you're saying.
yes,
And
yes.
often when I take people through this process, I often find they talk baby words. Not I say something I don't know like oh not nice, and then they'll correct themselves. Oh, I'm an adult. I know about grammar.
Mm,
I said no, no, say the same words. Not
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
and it takes you straight back to the origin. Yeah. So where's that Where's that? Don't talk. Don't express yourself. So you see how you
Mm.
follow
It's like a
your
trail of
words.
breadcrumbs, isn't it?
That's right. But actually, you're right in the hotspot center. Trail of breadcrumbs, but it is where you are. Where's the irritation? What's that all about? Where's that in me? Connect to it. So you see, like it's a self-meditating thing, sort of
Mm,
noticing you, connecting with you. And what you're actually doing is you're bringing all these pieces together. You're connecting all the pieces of you up. And before this moment, you weren't, and it had to all go to your knee, to a puffy knee. So you'd put your hand on it and connect.
mm. I've spent days trying to work out how I did this. And I've been going through talking to people. Is it the detox I'm on? Could it have been the exercise? Why did it come on 3 days after? And I wouldn't, this is the last thing I would have ever have thought of
Yeah.
doing, even though I knew I was going to be talking with you and I wasn't going to actually mention the knee because it is getting better. But I look at, am I the worst type of client to work with? The real logical ones that struggle to get in that internal space that want to pick through everything with their head. Are they the worst ones?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, if that's the way you function, do it, definitely,
Mm.
because that's part of alignment, being exactly who you are, and too bad for anybody else. If people don't like the way that you are, it's really important. And the way that I teach is a three-step process. The first is get rid of the pain. It's all this connecting
Mm.
thing. The next is how do you support? How do you create the momentum so you don't have to keep fixing anything, or there's nothing to fix anyway? How do you create the momentum, support your healing the way that you want to be? And then the third step is stopping patterns returning, get rid of old patterns, and being who you are is really valuable. It's really important.
Mm.
We're often not allowed to be ourselves when we're children. We don't know, we're not given the space or whatever, dominant parents or whatever. And so that's a really important part. Um, I went off track a bit there. But so being logical, I have lots of logical people in my program.
Mm.
And it can be really challenging, and not everyone can do this.
Mm.
Not everybody can go to the body. Maybe there's trauma inside, and it's really they want to, but they can't yet.
Hmm.
So you have to meet yourself where you are. You start healing from exactly where you are. If you're very logical, that's where you start.
Mm.
Connect with your thoughts, and it's self-honor. That might be a need that's not in place at the moment. The irritation of the knee is bringing you into your physical body, and you were able to go down that line a little bit.
Mm.
Um, but it's important if you're logical, be logical. There's nothing wrong with that. But thinking stops healing, though. So if your body's calling you and you're
Mm.
trying to figure out why have you got it, you're not connecting. You're over here figuring out how to. You're in the mind.
Mm.
So it's speaking Chinese to a Spaniard. You need to speak the same language. you know?
Yeah, I've
So what,
tried like ginger poultices. I've been putting creams on. I've been doing this and trying to work out and going through everything I could possibly have done. And why is it that knee and not that knee? And just driving myself insane. Whereas, yes, this would have been a much quicker process. But
mm,
if you've got a pain, like, I don't know, you've tripped up and landed on your knee or something, or whatever, or maybe like this, where you don't know what's caused it, do you automatically do your process, or do you just think, well,
yeah,
oh, you do. So you don't even,
definitely.
so even if you just like immediately hurt yourself, you go through your process.
Yeah, because it's not just the immediately hurt myself thing. Like I stubbed my toe the other day. It's not really about stubbing toe and that thing that was in the way.
Mm.
We automatically, as humans, go outside of ourselves and blame other people or the thing or my toe or the I wasn't concentrating. Ah, now I'm coming to what's really going on. I wasn't concentrating. So if I stub my toe, of course it's going to be painful. And in that moment, it's excruciating for a few seconds. And I just breathe and I let the pain overwhelm me, flood through me, and relax my body. And then I know what it's really about. I'm not concentrating. I'm busy. I'm doing too much. That's what it's really about.
Mm.
So tuning into that will bring me back to my center, back into flow, back into the connection to me. And then those kind of things won't happen. There was a guy who was treating his a rugby guy, and he came into the clinic, and his shoulder was like that, and he'd had loads of operations, and he'd had a lot of damage, physical damage on his shoulder. And I did reflexology on him. I got into the muscles to soften and relax, the blood to flow, and the breathing, all this sort of thing. But what was it really about? He had known 100% rugby. He was picked as a kid. He lived rugby. All he knew was rugby, rugby. It's all he knew. And he was
Mm.
never, ever going to change. So life has a funny way of making you change,
Doesn't it just?
doesn't it? And maybe that guy is very resistant, but he's here. So that tells me that he's open and learning to something. Maybe he can be a coach. Maybe he can write books. Maybe he can completely change his life. I don't know. So he was in a dark night of the soul time when he met me, when he came to the clinic. He was
Mm.
devastated. He was, I think, 30 or something. He was devastated. He couldn't function, and he had constant pain in his arm, which brought him to someone like me to
Yeah.
make him to a masseuse or somebody to make him pay attention to it. So that's
Mm.
what's so clever about the body and physical conditions. All that information, all that ginger and everything you've done, you've probably learnt loads about ginger and what suggestions people have given you or have tried, or so
Yes,
it's
it
made
was
you
the wrong thing to put on something puffy. I should have used potato. I thought it was in the joint. That's why I used ginger. But anyway, yes, I have.
you've learned.
Yes, I have
Excellent.
learned.
But then you're missing one critical factor is that pain is a message that wants to be heard. So that
Yes.
puffy, and then you just went through that little line of guidance easily.
Mm.
It's simplistic when you know how.
It's just
Connect.
a tool that I don't immediately think to pick up, whereas you're obviously doing this day in, day out, and that's your first go-to tool. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. I will have to shunt that up the list now and have that as my go-to
Okay.
one rather than considering that I knew I was interviewing you this week. I
Yeah.
can't believe I spent so many days thinking, what on earth have I done to my knee? But it was just stuck in my pattern of not considering actually there's something behind this, as there so often is with anything, especially something unusual that gets your attention, I think.
Yeah. Anything. And the thing is that the body can only speak body. The body can't say, I'm irritated. It gives you an irritation. It gives you a skin rash or puffy
Mm,
knee. It can only speak body. But
yeah.
the correct question is not why am I suffering? Why is this happening? The correct question is what is it? And what you've done is you've met your mind where the physical thing is. What is it? How does it feel? What am I sensing? And also that physical condition is an end result of everything that whatever has created it.
Mm,
So staying present with the problem thing and relaxing your body, which allows the blood and the oxygen to get in and do its job,
mm,
saying what you want instead. Not only are you allowing that physical puffy need to say, oh, irritation, oh, I can't speak. locked, and it's taken you into the story. Those are the things that's actually creating it. But what's interesting about um, having symptoms that's the place where you can handle it. Maybe you can't go into why you're locked and why you can't speak and don't speak or whatever, but um, maybe those are um, various vague sort of concepts that you're living and also all over the place. But you can deal with it by having a puffy knee.
Mm,
And then you've come to this moment where I'm just here you go.
mm.
So
I will
you're
certainly spend some more time with this because I suppose that the core of it is I've got too much on my plate. There's only one of me, and it's I need to be
mm,
getting in touch with. I mean, aware, I'm very aware of it because I'm looking at a pile of junk behind the computer that hasn't been sorted, and it's like I'm just pushing everything to one side and doing what needs to be done, but there isn't that time to be relaxing and. I suppose also because I finished Council Watch, etc. And this is meant to be my time of recuperating and Racheling, and I'm not really getting it because I'm involved in so many other projects. So, yeah, I
mm.
obviously there's a lot more to this than I need to, and I need to spend time going through it. So I won't bore the listeners with my entire life story as to why I've got a puffy knee, but I very much appreciate you putting me on track so that I can spend time later really delving into the depths of what the root cause is. And trying to keep my logical mind from nitpicking its way through and actually listen to my body, which really is what you're about, listening to that message that pain has.
Listening and tuning in, and also you can keep it really, you don't have to add another thing to the list, or you don't need to do anything, Rachel. You can just pay attention to your needs, and it can be as simple as you need the loo, go to the loo, and you're thirsty, drink some water. So these little responses to your messages will stop the development of difficult things rising because you're listening and responding all the time. So you can still do exactly what you're doing, but just notice you in the middle of all of your world, and that automatically puts you into center, and that makes a different trajectory for you when you're coming from your center, noticing how you're feeling, noticing. Just put your hand when it's puffy, just put your hand there and rub it around or something. Do anything that helps, but the first action is actually you're listening and responding, and that puts you into flow. That's the
Hmm.
critical factor. You don't have to add extra things. We're all busy people, I guess, and you don't need to do anything more. Just notice you. Oh, I'm thinking like this. Oh, I'm feeling like that, and then off you go because you'll make different choices and decisions from that point. But also,
Mm.
I offer if you want to come onto it or anybody wants to come onto it, a monthly um, experience. I call it pain-free experience, experiencing the pain-free method. And I've made it really low cost because I know that many people are struggling with money these days, or if you've had chronic conditions, many people have lost their jobs. So I want to make it a really low bar for everybody to get help. And it's just £7 to come
Oh,
in.
wow.
Yeah. And I take you through an hour and a half of taking you through the rules of what's the rules to watch out for, what are the blocks to stop, what stops us. Like you've said things that are very typical, that if we're in the Western logical world, I mean, I'm logical too, I'm analytical too, um, but these will stop the healing process. So I teach you what are the blocks, what are the actions, and I help you and guide you to get started on it. Um, and I run that once a month. And if £7 is even too much, just let me know and I can ping you the free link. So I don't want it to be a problem for anybody.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And if people want to come and do a one-to-one, where is your clinic?
Yeah, it's all everything online. Don't need to move. Stay in
Oh,
your home.
wow.
It's it's painfreedom.co.uk. Pain freedom, all one word, little letters,
Mm.
.co.uk. And there's a free guide on there so you can start to get the concept of how it works. Oh, but just the better to come on to the pain-free experience. That's the
Mm.
best thing to do as a first step because then I'm there
Okay.
guiding you, and it was so easy to get it. Healing is easy. I had this epiphany when I was 30. I realized what the key of healing was, and it still took me about 2 or 3 years. I thought, that can't be it. Is that it? That's it. Just connect. So over the next 2 or 3 years, I was testing it out myself, testing out my clients, and my treatments went from chalk to cheese. It was overnight. I couldn't work with anybody again until I felt that inner connection, that
Hmm.
inner soul connection. And as soon as you feel that, everything springs from there. And then the actions I developed, I had to analyze what am I, how can I give this to you? I analyzed from somebody walking in the clinic to talking and what was I doing with their bodies and what was I focusing on. And it took me about 7 or 8 years to develop it into an ABC, which anyone can do. Yeah.
Wonderful. And
That's
what
my
happens if people are suffering from disease like with something like cancer and they've got a lot of pain from that and the treatments? Will this also help those time of long-term painful illnesses?
Yeah, so I'm very careful to say I cannot cure anything. I don't
No,
cure
no,
anything. Your
no.
your body is a self-healing system. What I do is I show you how to get into the center of what's going on for you, whether it's
Hmm.
cancer or a stub toe or a headache. It's all the same stuff. It's all
Mm,
expressions from what's coming out from you. It's not about the symptoms. It's all about where's this all coming from. It's all about connecting, tuning into you. And that's what I show you how to do. And when you do that, when you come into you, your center, which is not always easy,
mm,
I took 30 years to even begin. I would never do any of this stuff, kind of going within connecting before I was 30. I just would never do it. I couldn't go in there. But if you're ready and open, then
mm,
I can show you the way. I can show the simple actions, and then
mm,
it takes the process that it does to go through your layers, but it's all about connecting to you. So
mm.
you can start it off yourself by just putting your hand on your heart often and just feel your heartbeat and breathe. That's an easy starting action.
It's immediately relaxing, isn't it, when you do that?
Yeah, because
Mm,
that's our natural state. All this
yeah.
stress and thing, and I've got to do this, I need to do that, and piles of paper, that's all humanizing, I call it.
Mm,
We all have it, but in the center of it is you. You're not a machine. You're you, how you tick, and all your fantastic skills and your loveliness and your wishes and your dreams and your past and who you are. That's the magic. That's where the magic happens. So, yeah, it doesn't matter what you've got. If you're ready and open, and if this is kind of feeling interesting to you, then come and have a chat. I offer free consultations. So you just book yourself a free consultation and we'll have a chat, see if it's for you, and then look at the options. And I've got everything from absolutely free with the free guides, or have a look at that. But I would strongly recommend that you come on to the experience call, the taster session, because then you can get
mm,
started. And all the way to, I have different price points for private one-to-ones. I have a group as well. So it depends what feels right for you or what's your budget.
mm,
But there's something for you. So don't suffer in silence. It pains me thinking of somebody suffering, you know,
mm,
and now I know how to do it. And you can do it, and it might not have to cost you a penny. If you're
mm.
suffering, come into my world and I'll show you.
And people have got nothing to lose by trying this.
No,
You know, it's not like you're
absolutely.
taking horrible painkillers with dreadful side effects. This is you spending half an hour to an hour just getting in touch with what could be the root cause of your pain and discomfort. So I thoroughly encourage anyone to try your method because I came on a call with you. You did a free taster session a couple of weeks back, and I
Mhm.
came on that, and it was very interesting watching and listening to you coaching people. So brilliant.
Oh,
Well, so yes, people, go to Althea's website. I will put the links below. And thank you so much for your time today and talking me through. And I hope people have got a lot from this. So thank you very much.
thanks so
Any
much
last
for having me
you'd like
on.
to say before we go?
Yeah, stop suffering. Get it sorted. Do you want to get back to life? Do you want to get your life back? Healing is easy, and I'm going to show you the steps of how to begin. Or aim for
Brilliant.
PainFree if you want to come into the program. But don't sit there suffering. Begin, begin either with your connecting to your heartbeat, or come get in touch and get things sorted. Are you ready for change? Are you ready to get your life back to be you?
Yeah.
Start.
Super. Lovely. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Rachel.